name is Sheena C. Howard, award-winning editor and author of a lot of dope content. So, you might be familiar with some of my other content, Remixing Colorblind, the documentary I wrote, produced, and directed about race and education and how the educational system shapes our perception of race. I did a community-based event around that film, and I funded that out of my own pocket. Also, the production costs of the film were largely funded out of my own pocket, but I can't operate that way anymore. So I need your help to help fund my projects in the future, because the way I've been doing it is not sustainable. You might be familiar with the Encyclopedia of Black Comics. It had over 20 contributors write pieces on different black people in the comics industry. Those writers did get paid if they chose to, and I had to fund that out of my pocket. That model's not sustainable anymore. You might be familiar with the Eisner Award-winning book, Black Comics, Politics of Race and Representation. So before I won the Eisner Award and nobody knew about the book, I went to comic book conventions all across the country as an unknown person, networking, letting people know about the book, putting it on the map, basically selling books out of my trunk. And all of that costs money. Promotion costs money, and I funded all of that out of my pocket. And that is not sustainable anymore. So I'm asking you to support me on a monthly basis as I try to continue to bring you more awesome, dope content and tell stories that we don't usually hear about. Because everybody's story is something we can learn from, even if it makes you uncomfortable. Right now I'm working on 3 projects that are all scheduled to drop in 2020. One is a fiction book about domestic violence, which I would like to connect with community groups and organizations, both locally and nationally, to do some workshops, events, have discussion meetups. But it costs money to do that, and it costs time to do that. And as we all know, time is money. I am also working on a graphic novel about black civil rights leaders and black famous people from the 19th century with Temple University through a Pew Research grant. That's going to come out in 2020. I'm also working on a book called The Psychology of Black Panther, which looks at psychological themes in the movie Black Panther, specifically for the African American audience. But I need your support to pull all of these projects off, and more importantly to me, to engage more with the community. I'd like you to support me on a monthly basis so I can continue to create awesome content and do more community-based events so I can have more one-on-one time with my fans and supporters.